lots of people got different diets, man. Some more efficient than others, some efficient metabolisms. One of my psychology professor at Mesa Community College talked about how people on Indian reservations had a lot of tendency to get more obese more quickly because they had more efficient metabolisms, that they were malnourished a lot of times when they were younger, and so their metabolism would work more efficiently and process the food at a different rate. And then therefore, when they started eating a little better, they'd put on weight more because their body had become more efficient at establishing, on minimal amount of food. So everybody's metabolisms, especially, it's a lot to do with their evolutionary state and their very biological conditioning from their environment was just evolved, And so people have different numbers. So to have baseline numbers that we all function the same, like with some people can have eggs and toast every morning for breakfast, have numbers that go off the charts. He should be near diabetic, and he could be just as healthy as a guy who eats, granola every morning, you know what I mean? But they have similar activity. They get up and they have similar amounts of activity, and they're both fine health-wise. They have very different numbers. Jordan Ilhurst and God Made One Duck at a Time. Satchel Paige was one of my favorite ones on that one too. Satch lived into his 90s, man. And they asked him, Satch, how you live so long, man? Good cigars, good stiff, couple drips of stiff whiskey every day, and lots of fried food. And they're like, no way. Yeah. That was back in the day, too, before they had a lot of the real health things and stuff, too, because that was Satch, He played in the Negro Leagues. Satch, that's how Satch survived. He lived into his 90s. And certain people live off different kind of things, but Satch probably stayed pretty active. He's probably always a fairly active human being like my grandma. And my grandma, boy, she could tear up fruits. I mean, she loved fruit and sweets. She had candy around a lot of the time, and she liked sweets. She had a sweet tooth like I got. My grandmother died from her medication that helped her shut down when she was 98 years old, when she fell and broke her hip. They brought her in, and the doctor wasn't going to operate, took her vitals, and her vitals were mirroring that of most people that are in their 60s. So they thought they could safely do the operation and be fine, and they did, but they were giving her sedatives for the pain, and the sedatives helped slow her body down. So she was able to sit there in a room and pray to Jesus for help to die, because she wanted to die. She was miserable. She always said that, too. She said she didn't know what she did to have to live so long, because she was miserable. I mean, she outlived 2 of her children, her husband, 2 of her children, almost all of her siblings. She just lingered, and she was lonely, and she was treated like shit, and she was angry about a lot of things, and familiarity breeds contempt. And much as she loved her children, she was mean to them. I told you it was that way with the kids, too. Go out and talk to her and visit her. One minute she was great, and then one moment she thought you stole something or took something that was hers, or, oh boy, she's ready to wring your neck. Ask my sister. She tells the story about it to everybody, because it's this horrible thing. When it happens to my kids, it's like, well, my kids deserve it, my kids are bad. But when it happened to her kids, she wrapped a cane around my child's neck. Oh my God, it was horrible. And then my daughter grabbed a marker and was drawing crucifixes all over the house with it, and no one knew. Kids didn't come tell me, no one was paying attention. And so, because Amy gave them no parameters, we were finally getting the kids back into it. My grandma came in and caught her and tried to take the dog collar off, which is a big, thick dog collar with pieces of metal on it, and tried to hit Kate with it. I got in between her and said, no, that's not how I correct my kids. That's not what I do. And my sister came over and told me, Granny was right. This is Dad's house, and she should be able to. So should be able to beat my kid with a dog collar. But if she takes a cane to your kid's neck, it's a offense. Yeah, it's horrible. Well, because my kid wouldn't do anything wrong, and your kid was doing something wrong. So your kid deserved to be beat with a dog collar, but my kid didn't deserve what he got. Good God. Oy vey. Yeah. Oh, no, I don't want to go to church with you guys. No. Thanks, Mike. Me and Michael Jordan were sitting there talking about a couple of things this morning because we were talking about stuff. It's weird. We connect. And like I said, I totally didn't expect this. But a lot of people connect to him. That makes sense now. Yeah. You've got more. Me and Joe and Clyde have already met. And so there's kind of like just a comfortable kind of, yeah. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, me and Clyde just have kind of like like me and Joe do, like friends, you know. And Joe didn't have the same competition problem that Mike had. And Clyde really didn't either. Clyde's a good teammate that liked to win. Joe was too. But Joe was kind of laid back. I was too. If I had gotten that quote out of the Tiger, when I got it, oh shit, I was a badass. But Joe and Clyde were that way too. Michael just had it all the time. He had a chip on his shoulder. And boy, when he had a chip, I was the type of person, oh fine. I told everybody about that too when I played that, you know, Larry would go in for the crowd for the ball and everybody, you know, and I'm like, the coaches, now that's hustle. It's like, I could break somebody's face diving in the crowd after the ball. You know, I could hurt a little girl. You never know what I could do. So, yeah, winning's just not that important to me. Like, really? Yeah, no. I'll get the ball next time down court. You gotta hustle and leave everything out there on the court. That even means knocking a little girl's tooth out going into the crowd for the basketball. I ain't gonna do it. Sorry, Coach. Winning's just not that fucking important to me. It should be everything. Yeah, whatever, Vince Lombardi. I don't give a shit. If they judge you by how many games you won, and not by how many, children's teeth did you knock out by going to the stands, fuck that shit. It just ain't worth it to me. I like to win, but if I analyze the situation real quick and think, no, I don't want to do that, it could hurt somebody. You're just gonna have to fucking get over it. That's just the way I think. Winning a basketball game isn't worth hurting a person in the stands for me to go hustle and save the ball and tell everybody, oh, did you see that spectacular hustle? Whatever. I'm not gonna push him down. I'm not gonna cheat. If you win, you win. If I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. You beat me. It's just the way it goes. I don't have a competition problem. No, I never did. That's one of the things we were talking about because Mike was like, Jenny and Oprah already brought it up to me. They were like, no, because I was like, I'm so nice. I'm such a nice guy. I don't see why people be intimidated to talk to me. He's like, are you kidding? Nice? Nice? You make people go back home and feel like they're 3 years old again and cry themselves to sleep. And you kick the fuck out of people and don't get off of them. You make Phil Jackson look like he's my first grade teacher. I'm like, I mean, you do it in a way that's like, I mean, it's relentless. You're like vicious. like a pack of dogs on a three-legged cat. Yeah, when I'm going for peace. When I'm going for real victory, in the way that you should, it's weird. He kind of described it to me. It's like, but I'm like, I'm not that bad of a badass. I'm not that mean. When it comes to protecting people from bullies, and it comes from protecting us from ourselves, and kicking our asses to make us walk straight, you make people feel like shit. I mean, Granny Kramer's good, huh? Are you enjoying Jubilee class, Mike? Shut up, Sandler. Oh, no, it's funny. But yeah, it's act like a grown-up, okay? Act like grown-ups. You guys act like grown-ups. Kevin James, I know your name. Kevin, David, Chris, Adam. Where's Rob? Yeah, I didn't see him on the thing for grown-ups too. What you got to do for Rob Schneider? Yeah. Meanies. But yeah, no, you guys are cool. But yeah, I get the fact. I understand it. Okay, you guys all hang out. I was joking about that. Like, you hang out with Will? No, why? He's from Philly. You're from North Kakalaki. It's Carolina. We don't like it called. I know. That's why I said it. I love Carolina, man. Yeah. Oh, especially going up through the woods there, through western North Carolina. Up there, yeah. You've been up to Asheville. It's gorgeous. I ain't been to Boone, but I'd like to go to Boone someday. And I know that's more the country folk, the people that string you up. Got the hillbillies and the KKK. The head of the KKK was right around by Fayetteville, yo. Yeah, out by Sanford or wherever. Right in the boondocks, right there in my old hometown in North Carolina, old Fayetteville, which was 75% African American, black. Yeah, Fayetteville State University Broncos. Woo. Yeah, Daryl Armstrong. Y'all know who Daryl Armstrong is, Orlando Magic. Yeah, he played at Fayetteville State when I was up at Pope. Used to watch him play on TV, and that guy's good. He could play in the ACC. He obviously played in the NBA for quite a while. Yeah. Daryl Armstrong, he was a very good ball player. I remember watching him. And yeah, I forgot all about that. And your brother Reggie, man, he was a very good ball player. Right? How about big was Reggie? What, about 5'10"? He was not real tall, but really good game. Good game. Just stopped, did a Jada Pinkett Smith and stopped growing. Oh, Lord, you joke like that, too. We had a Reggie Jordan in New Mexico State that was really good. Played for the Lakers for a while. Yeah, you know that. Okay. Yeah. Did he play with Randy Brown? I can't remember, man. Dude, you know Randy better than me. Shut up, Randy. Randy went to school with my brother-in-law, and he'd tell us about that too, and he was a great guy. Most of the guys that play in New Mexico State, you get to meet them. They're really decent guys and stuff like that. Or at least that's the face we always show everybody. I got you. Yeah, you always have to, you know. It's very rare. New Mexico State, we had a man, Vinnie Johnson Sr., Super John Williamson. John was about, 6 foot, about 6'1", 200 pounds, solid, built like a shit brick house, and could get a jump shot off of anybody. Solid quickness, good strong, you know. He could light up people 30 points in a quarter, whatever stuff. If he got on, he was like the microwave before the microwave was the microwave. But he had trouble staying on a team because he didn't really play team ball that much, and he just could go off. And he was just like the coach just told the coach, just ride me, you know, just get on this horse and ride me. And it didn't always work because some games, like Curtis was talking about to William on that, you know, Michael can go 15 for 40 some nights, and it's okay, you know, stuff. He typically, if he shoots 40 shots, he's going to make about 20, which is 50%, which is 40 points, which most guys don't shoot close. Lucky if they do shoot close to 50%, which is really good, you know. So, especially when you can create opportunities, and then you have 3 and 4 people coming over to try to stop you, then you create opportunities for your teammates, so it does work out to your benefit. And the other thing that was really great about Michael Jordan was on the other end of the court, like I told him about the Richard Dumas thing. I tried to get a chance to talk to Richard Dumas and tell him about 6 inches, and trying to explain it to another guy. I was like, what do you mean 6 inches? It's like, yeah, there's a difference between Scotty, Mike, and Richard. They're very talented, and it shows in Richard's offensive stuff. He's not as creative and aggressive as he should be because he doesn't put the effort in on defense. You have to play a complete game in order to get it right. What's the 6 inches? If you watch them down on court the way Richard Dumas guards people and the way Scotty and Mike guard people, he's 6 inches taller than they are. He doesn't get his knees bent, his legs spread, and his butt down when he plays defense. Yeah, he doesn't put effort into defense like they do. They put effort into defense, and it makes them great players. Richard Dumas was a very talented player that could play good, but didn't want to put the effort into being great by playing defense. And that's what they told me. That's one thing Greg Berry did tell me, was that he said, it's everybody can find a way to score by the time you get to the talent level of the NBA and stuff like that. It's people that can stop other people that are your most effective basketball players. Dennis Johnson, Sidney Moncrief, known for their great defensive abilities, and they could play offense. And their offense typically fed off their defense because they were putting in maximum amount of effort. A lot of guys didn't like to put a lot of maximum amount of effort in defense because they felt it took away their energy on offense. But it was like Jennifer Lopez was talking about, that it takes more energy to swing and miss than it does to swing and hit. And it does. And shooting the ball after a while gets the same way. You go out there, swing and miss, swing and miss, swing and miss. It uses up all your energy. Now, when you're playing defense, you're keeping your endorphins going at a high rate. You get your butt down, and you condition yourself into playing a complete game. And then your energy level works in a wholly different fashion. Dang, this is cool. I like Phil Jackson. Yeah, so when you're looking at things, it's all about what you put into it and your modus operandi and your way of thinking. It's almost like being a Bushido warrior or a Shaolin monk playing basketball that way. And Bushido as far as like, perfecting your craft. And that's what they would do, is try to perfect their craft as basketball players. Also, know your strengths and weaknesses like Randy and Dennis. Dennis and Randy weren't meant to score a lot of points. They were meant to go out there and on certain nights, go out there and stop somebody. You know what I'm saying? Now, yeah, and a lot of times you got to get them warmed up. It's not fair to just put them out there, go start stopping them on defense. You got to give them a little time to get warmed up and get them out there, and then be patient as a coach and realize you might take a couple of shots before he starts shutting the guy down, which is cool. So if he had to engage someone like Super John Williamson, what Phil Jackson would have countered with was Randy Brown. Randy Brown wouldn't care about scoring or anything like that. He would just care about making Vinnie Johnson's or Super John Williamson's night miserable. Just, make him work like a mofo on offense as hard he'd have to work on defense if he actually tried to play defense. Yeah, make his life miserable. That was Randy Brown's job as a Chicago Bull. Yeah, and he did it. And he did it well. He didn't have to do it much as some of the other guys, but when he did it, he didn't complain, and he went out there and did it. So my brother-in-law Lawrence was right. Randy Brown's a good guy, a good teammate. And, yeah, that's cool, man. Thanks, bro. Man, I love talking back. We on a big basketball tip here lately, man. They had the tournament coming up. Wichita State. When I was a kid, man, I'm always really big into Wichita State. Well, they used to be in the Missouri Valley Conference of the New Mexico State Aggies. And they had a coach by the name of Gene Smithson. And he started going in there and finding ways to recruit with the big boys and play with them real well. And he had Odell Jones, Cliff Levingston, Antoine Carr, Tony Smith. I mean, he went out and recruited these great ball players that should have been playing at other schools. He had a team that could play with anybody in the country at Wichita State in Kansas. Little old Wichita State. And next thing you knew, after that, they were on like 4 years probation. And then the same thing happened to Bradley University in Peoria. They had David Threadgill and, oh God, I can't remember the other players they had. But they started recruiting some real good players and having some decent teams too, and then they ended up on probation. Yeah, it's the old Warren Woodson thing here at New Mexico State, What's the perfect record? Not 11-0, no, 7-4. Enough to keep the alumni happy, and enough to keep the alumni happy and keep the NCAA off your back. Yeah, you got to find a balance to deal with the big boys when it comes to making money and drawing it in. Because you start to compete with the Alabamas and the Tennessees, and you're New Mexico State and Texas Western, you find out the meaning of a word from the NCAA: probation. Turn to redneck school. 8 years probation. What's that? Take the car key out your ear. Stop trying to recruit with these people. They have better lawyers and better ways of covering up their gifts that they give to children to go to their school. Oh, yeah. That's too funny. Oh, man, yeah. Yeah, Wichita State, man. Those teams. I never got to see. The big star player on Wichita State when I watched him was a brother named Ray Shirley. Yeah, it was before they had Gene Smithson and stuff like that, and we used to thump Wichita State with Slab Jones, Albert Slab Jones, and Larry Bird knows it. Larry, you know who Albert Slab Jones is. Yeah, you know. Larry had said that one time. They had interviewed him, who was one of the best players he played against, even against the guys at Michigan State, was probably just as good with Albert Slab Jones. And Albert was a pre-med student. He didn't have a real big competition problem, but he was very talented, very good guy. Led some very competitive and good New Mexico State teams. He was their center at 6'7". He went about 220. He was strong. He was quick. He had a good mid-range jump shot. He could rebound. Yeah, he was. Jay Vincent didn't have nothing on Albert on Slab. As a matter of fact, Larry would probably tell you that too. That Slab was quicker, and probably if he hadn't spent all his time playing center at New Mexico State, probably could have gone in as a swing small power forward in the NBA if he had the desire to do so, and done quite well as a professional basketball player. Slab just he had a good education. He was very intelligent in the classroom, and he just didn't need it. We had another good tight end by the name of Kerry Laughlin, Clem Laughlin's older brother, that was an all-conference tight end at New Mexico State. Went and tried out for the Rams, and Lyle Zado and a bunch of other people did like Ed O'Neill said, beat the shit out of him. Like he felt like he was a little baby crying. He said, they just beat the fuck out of you every day. And he just said, I'm not only all Missouri Valley Conference and all that, I'm also strong academic, high academics, and made all conference academic stuff like that too. So he had other things he could fall back on. He said, nah, I just didn't want to do this every day for the rest of my life. It just wasn't worth it to him. So he wasn't quitting. He just, it was everything to those people, and to him it'd be a nice career, but not to the point where I want to come in here every day and spend the rest of my life asking my body to work, and it don't want to show up because they beat the fuck out of you. Some people can handle it, some people can't. And if I had continued on a situation of trying to play ball and stuff like that, I don't know if I'd wanted to play the 82 games a year and all the wear and tear on your body that it does, and walk around like Joe does and like Phil Jackson does, trying to put my body back together. That's why Mike, when he's talking about my hoop dreams, when I talked about it and said, we should play not monetarily based, but just for like what you do for a living. I'm a what you'd call a professional basketball player, but I do play basketball. I have some other things that I do to help out my community, but I'm pretty much known at this time as a basketball player, and it's what I do. It's something that people enjoy because they enjoy the competition on an intelligence level and a physicality level, something to achieve too, like being a better runner, dancer, scientist, or whatever, stuff like that. I'm no better than the chemist. I'm no better than the RN, but I am good at what I do. I'm not a freak sideshow thing that plays into the big top, but people like to come and see me play ball, and they appreciate it and have a good time and drive pleasure and enjoyment from it, and inspires them to do things of greatness themselves. They see it as great in lots of ways, but it's just an athletic contest, and it's nothing greater than the RN. As a matter of fact, Miss Sheila Agee's training and what she does could affect people's lives more greatly than what I do on the basketball court at any given day or time, and it doesn't get 15,000 screaming people saying what a great job you did, Sheila. That finding that thing on that chart and covering that other thing saved that person's life. How many basketball players can say that? Thanks, Russell Westbrook. That's cool. Appreciate you guys, man. Nah, this is really neat, man. Thanks for standing up for Sheila. And stand up for Bo, too, because he ain't nothing but a man. You can only sometimes get laid off so many times and told you ain't nothing and that you can't provide for your family unless you play in the NBA, and no one can keep you around, and you ain't nothing but a nigger. And he's not. He's nothing but a man. And he needs to be able to reasonably think that he can get together with a young lady and have a couple of babies for their own, and have a house to call their home, and food on the table, because we can manage our resources enough to feed people instead of starve people. And I've never met anybody I wanted to starve to death like Hitler did with my relatives in Poland and Germany, and Stalin did with my relatives in Russia. But I have met people I want to feed. And if there was enough of us wanting to make sure that people got fed and didn't have to fight to scrap for food and a place to live, we'd have less Hitlers and more Sheila Agees. You know, how am I supposed to live on this? And you guys are all like, she just wants to live on welfare. No, she just wants to live. You ever heard Gene Campbell's song, I Want to Live? I was one of my favorite songs as a kid, man. I would sit there, you know, and Billy, Ralphie is, Gina is short, Michael is tall. They want to live, live and let live. They want all the love this life has to give. They want to smile and be friendly with you. They want to live. Lord, don't you? Is one of my favorite songs ever. It was just, he just talked about everybody and how everybody was different, but they just want to live, and they want all the love this life has to give, and they want to smile and be friendly with you. Other song that I like too was Try a Little Kindness. You ever heard that one? You know, if you see your sister, you see your brother standing by the road with a heavy load from the seeds he sowed, and you see your sister falling by the way, just stop and say you're going the wrong way. You got to try a little kindness, just for sure, a little kindness, and shine your light for everyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, then you overlook the blindness of the narrow-minded people on the narrow-minded streets. Like our boy Keith Elam, Guru, said. You know, he sat there and he said, you know, and use kindness and never blindness, and you will find that this perspective is best. Check it out. These are the words that are manifest, and then the triumphant Premier's beats, and those horn sounds on his turntable that he put out that made it seem like the lyrics were triumphant, because they were. That song just hooked me, man. I loved it. That was my joint right there. Good old Gangstar, words of manifest. Man, I'm glad they kept them separated from me. I'd have spent all my money. I'd have bought everything I could get of Gangstar and Guru. When I went and heard them again, sat down and actually had the time to sit and listen, like I did with Lauryn Hill. And I never bought a Maxwell CD, man. I always wanted to. I thought Maxwell was just smooth and cool and just beautiful, you know, as far as his ways of expressing how much he loved the ladies. And I like that too, you know. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. The voices, people's voices, man. My mom's, I was amazed that she started liking Bob Marley, because he didn't have one. He had more of, I guess, what you'd consider more or less like a Bob Dylan, Joni Mitchell kind of voice, as opposed to a Judy Collins, Jim Reeves type of voice. Mom liked them brothers. Welcome to my world. Won't you come on in? She liked Bill Medley, and the dude with the really smooth, silk, you know, Nat King Cole, silk for a voice, you know. I mean, he just, the brother, man, I didn't realize, you know, because I grew up liking the OJs, but I also, man, Russell Tompkins Jr. and the Stylistics, the Delphonics, the Blue Magic, Switch, Bobby DeBarge, you know, those brothers with those high voices that could hit those notes from the stratosphere, or had that real smooth, melodious voice, like Gerald Alston. And Kay would sit there and say, you know, on Kiss and Say Goodbye, that she liked the brother who came in, you know, this has got to be the saddest day of my life. I called you here today for a bit of bad news. You know, he had that really deep, beautiful voice, you know. And then me and Law were like, I like when Gerald comes in and just starts lifting, you know, goes from deep to, I had to meet you here today. There's just so many things to say. And it was just beautiful, you know. I was like, damn, I wish I could sing like that. But he just had that beautiful voice, you know, and I never envied any of them. I just was glad they could, you know. I always wanted to sing like that, you know. And I told this one girl once, I said, man, if I could sing, I'd want to sing like Gerald Alston, you know. I just couldn't try to sing like Randy Travis or something like that, because and then I look back, and I listen to George Jones, I listen to Sonny James, I listen to Randy Travis, I'm like, damn, brother got a great voice. On the other hand, you know, he's got that good twang to it, and he's just got a beautiful deep voice, and it just rolls and flows. You're just like, damn, it's everybody, man. Like Tony Williams. Oh, Mom loves Tony Williams. And you can, oh man, her roses must remain with the sun and the rain. Oh, it's lovely promise won't come true. To each his own. He had the most beautiful voice, and I used to listen to him and just, wow, I wish I could sing like that. Man, he was gorgeous. Same with, you know, oh, I sit and put that on and pretend you're happy when you're blue. It isn't very hard to do. I'd love it. Just close your eyes, she'll be there. He had that great, God, his voice was gorgeous. And I'd just listen, and he would take me to places I'd never gone before, you know. And every time on a movie when I'd hear him sing, and I'd listen to Nat, he would take you to a place that was, you know, gee, it's great after staying out late, walking my baby back home. You know, and she has to borrow his comb. And, you know, if I kiss her, she'll cry. She's playing shy. It's just, you know, it's like a simpler time. Like It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart, you know. And, wow, this is deep stuff, dude. I mean, that's not everybody's dream, but my dream is let children be children. Let teenagers be teenagers. Let adults be adults. And if we make the world a better place for children, it'll be a better place for adults. And it'll be more innocent and childlike, even in adult society. We don't extort, we don't charge, we enjoy Christmas. I told everybody there was a while after that where I stopped enjoying Christmas because the magic of Santa Claus was gone and all the things were just cold. I was in Phoenix and Christmas would go by. You wouldn't even know it was Christmas because it was 75 degrees outside and sunny, or 80 depending on the day. And it only sneak up on you. I hated Christmas for a while because me and Steve Farmer at the mall used to say, wow, humbug, Scrooge was right. It's nothing but a big marketing ploy to sell a bunch of shit and make you work and work and work until they've sold stuff, and then the moment you come back, next day everybody's coming in for refunds and exchanges, trying to talk you into trading something in to get more money so they can come back after January 1st for the big after Christmas sellout specials for all the stuff they didn't sell during Christmas. We hated it. I worked retail for like 5 years. I couldn't stand Christmas. Oh, good God, I thought it was horrible. And I couldn't wait for it to end. And when I was a kid, I used to, as soon as Thanksgiving was over, put on the Johnny Mathis and Andy Williams and tried to talk Mom and Dad into getting the trees as fast as they could so I could decorate it and keep it watered. When we got the fake Christmas tree, I'd put it up like a week into December, have the Christmas music playing, and put up the outdoor lights. Yeah, I started decorating the house from the time I was about 13 and pretty much did it all by myself and took it down all by myself. Well, because I liked it. I liked it's the most wonderful time of the year. Made me feel good, you know, because there'll be kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. I liked the feeling it gave. When it went away, probably about through high school, because a lot of the magic went away, and my sister wasn't a little kid anymore. And then, like I said, through college and all that. And then I did this thing, got married, and had this little boy named Patrick, a little nephew named Corey. I started going to Disney movies again. Christmas started getting back its magic, you know. And I enjoyed it again. Like I told everybody, when I had time in my schedule to take a couple of days off during the week, because my days off were in the middle of the week, and I volunteered at Patrick's School. Man, I never went to kindergarten, but I really enjoyed it when I finally went in my 30s. And actually it was my late 20s. And I enjoyed first and second and third grade more than the first time I went. Not knocking my teachers and my friends. It was just beautiful to watch it through their eyes and see what the teachers was going through with the parents and everything. I could see it from a broader perspective and share it with someone that I really loved. Like he used to write me and write little things and draw pictures of me and him in the blue truck. Dad, I love you more than anything. And those kids were just amazing, and I was able to spend maybe 1 or 2 days out of the week with other people's children and enjoy them for a year, like I enjoyed my own son. And the teachers had me go in there, and I got to help kids that were having trouble, and I got to push the kids on the swing. Man, I was lucky, man. It's more lucky than a man with herds of horses, rooms of concubines. That's just my opinion, but I think I lived a pretty glorious life, to tell you the truth. All right, y'all. Thanks. This one's gonna go too long, so I'm gonna stop it here. And I think we'll just leave it at that, you know. And I love you, all right? We'll get down to the library in a few. Blessings and peace.